First, you fulfill your basic needs, and then you pursue your actualization needs. And in order to stay in some kind of a flow state, you need to gradually increase the challenge that you can take on over time, because that demands that you develop skills to match that challenge. But if you get stuck in this repetitive line of work where there is no more challenge after a specific point, you're just repeating the same day in and day out, that's not fulfilling. That's not enjoyable. You're not learning anything. You're not evolving or growing as an individual, especially if you're spending 8 hours a day, a third of your life there, and you're spending another third of your life sleeping, and then you're spending the other third of your life scrolling because you don't have anything better to dedicate your time to, because your life is just set. You're doing the repetitive work every day. There's nothing more that you need to go after or pursue. So for those
Okay, so that right there is what I want us to go in on, because I know that hit you like, oh yeah, facts, right?
I mean, especially current time of my life we just spoke on. But yeah, continue.
All right, so my thing is, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we were training, and she asked me, how much of your day do you enjoy? And I thought about it, and I said, not much. And and she was like, "What? I enjoy my day a lot. I do, I do this, I do that. I enjoy my work. She makes a lot of money with her job. I do this, I enjoy that. I enjoy my investing stuff." I'm like, okay. I said, but you're a very lucky person. You find enjoyment in your job. You own your business. You make a lot of money doing it. These investing, relationships, that's also financially prosperous as well. So what outside of work do you do? What are these things that you do that you enjoy? Since you say you enjoy your life, your day so much. Well, like hanging with my kids and my friends afterwards. I was like, okay, cool. So that's after work. So if you're lucky, so I was like, okay, look, some people are lucky enough to have a job where it's continually changing and progressing, and you're challenged, but yet you're enjoying it, and you're interested and you're focused, and that is an amazing thing. But most people don't have that. Most people are exactly what he's talking about, where you've got the 9 to 5, it doesn't change much, if at all, and you do it to put food on the table and pay rent, right, and provide for yourself, your family, your kids. And there's no enjoyment there. And I said, my thing is, I don't expect to enjoy most moments of my day, because a lot of what I have to do is just necessary activities, work that provides the money to exist. Right. And most jobs, like I'm a trainer. I said I enjoy conversations. I said I'm very blessed that I get to train with people, and I love conversations. So like for a whole hour, I'm just talking to people, talking about all kinds of ideas and stuff like that. And I'm pretty good at getting them to enjoy a conversation as well. I've had jobs. You've had jobs where it's murder. You're dying inside.
Yeah.
Right. And then I was like, that's what I said. I just don't like the question on how many moments of the day or how that you enjoy, right? I said, because I think the most important thing is flow states. Because when you're in a flow state, you're enjoying that moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, when you're at work, you're capable of doing these things. You're a little bit challenged, and that's what brings the enjoyment. But that's what a flow state is. If you were doing things where there was no challenge, and it was very mundane, you would not enjoy your work. And I said, I think the bigger question is, how many moments within your day can you create a flow state?
Wow. Yeah.
Because that's actually more valuable and more tangible than, hey, do I enjoy my day? Because people can relate that to, am I happy?
Just about to say.
And that's an emotional state.
Right.
And that is
Right.
not and I told her, I said, I don't trust my emotions.
Well, not a lot of people can conceptualize that, Cody.
True, true.
Yeah.
But like you and I understand that like our emotions, though valid, are not always true. And
Correct.
and that is a sign of maturity. And phrasing these questions as if like if you don't enjoy most of your day, then you're not happy. And happiness is the goal. And happiness defined as emotional excitement or ecstasy. And it's like that's not one, it's not realistic, and two, why is that should not be, that's not the goal.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Exactly.
To be happy all the time is it's impossible because of our emotions,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And I think people just get so caught up in I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. And it's just like an unrealistic, th- you know, thought process, mentality. I think for me personally, yeah, of course, I want to be happy and I'm happiest when I'm in certain flow states. I think there's different phases of flow states, whether it's,
Yeah.
training, deep work, meditation, or, hanging out with, doing a podcast. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful flow state right here. We're in flow. Um, but I think ultimately, like for me, what I've, come to realize, especially in the past several years, is like, what I aspire to have is just like a baseline of just inner peace.
Exactly.
Inner peace. That is,
That's what I told her. I literally said that, dude. I said I don't have many moments of enjoyment in my day. I said, but I have moments of peace
mm,
where I feel like I'm in purpose. It's working out. I, I'm at I don't feel like I have to like I'm not in a state of inadequacy. Like not I don't I'm not in a state of I'm not enough.
right.
I'm in a state of like I'm enough. It's working as it's supposed to work. I'm getting, I'm going along with it, and I don't have much resistance from me and from outside factors.
Yeah. And I'm
Those
at peace,
moments.
and I'm at peace about it.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
okay.
That is
It's,
okay.
I mean, isn't it just like a level of contentment,
Yes.
right?
100%.
Which essentially comes from gratitude, conscious gratitude,
Right.
you know? Gratitude and being happy are two different things. And I think people really need to start breaking that down first in
How
order
would you
to.
break that down?
I knew you were gonna put me on the spot.
Ah.
Oh, oh man. Just like happiness is a state of mind, gratitude is a state of mind. I just think, what I do is like, consciously reflect on, the past, the present, the future, but also just be in that present moment of just like look at everything that I have, and just feeling it and just be in a place of allowing things to happen. Um, yeah. So does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I Yeah, go
for
ahead.
gratitude, and I think they're different just because, um, how how can you be happy? Like
Right.
what does that mean? Because I feel like everybody, like what makes you happy, Cody, might not necessarily make me happy.
Right.
But, kind of the same thing with gratitude, but we can still um relate with certain things of gratitude. Like I'm grateful for, the air that I breathe, the food in my belly, et cetera,
Mhm.
et cetera. So I don't know if this is making sense, but that's just kind of how, it comes across in my head. How would you
So
articulate it? I'm still, I'm honing my skills when it comes to articulating my words. Like I can think it, but speaking it, as I'm, becoming
um
more well versed with, my
ask me the
articulation of,
question. Ask me the question again.
what is the difference between, being happy and being grateful? I feel like because they're very, very, they are very distinctive.
Yeah. Well, it's really a definition thing, right? So happy, I think most people think of happy as like an emotional state, right? Of ecstasy, like spritefulness, like, bouncing, like, energized, like, happy, like, it's pleasurable.
Yeah.
It's more attached to a physical emotion, where gratitude is a state of realization, right?
Yeah.
Where I think I don't think I think you can be grateful and happy, but moments of happiness don't always conclude or include gratitude. Because I think a lot of people who seek moments of happiness, like, that was enjoyable, I did that, they're pleasure seeking.
Uh-huh.
And you got to move on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, because you can't sit still and like not have that pleasurable, quote unquote, happy feeling, because then you'll start thinking about all these things that aren't as happy. But the moment that you can do that and you sit in the joyful and the painful and be thankful for both, that's gratitude.
Yeah.
And that's a maturity thing, right? And a spiritual thing.
I got something to add to that. Obviously, my handy dandy person that has actually helped me become more better with articulating using ChatGPT. I feel like, able to articulate myself a lot better. So just reading this, I'm learning how to articulate, the difference. So with that being
Right.
said, I prompted, how can you conceptualize the difference between being grateful and happy from a philosophical standpoint, acting as my higher self? Because I like to throw that into the mix, coming
Right.
from a gratitude is a state of awareness. It arises when your soul recognizes what is, accepts what has been, and honors the moment for what it offers you. It's not dependent on pleasure. It's not an emotion. It's a perspective. It says, even in tension, I see the gift. Even in the unknown, I trust the unfolding. Gratitude is an anchor to presence. When you're grateful, you don't need to escape the moment. You breathe into it and you say, this too belongs. Whereas happiness, however, is a state of being. It's more fleeting. It moves with conditions, success, connection, accomplishment, ease. It's beautiful, but transient. It's the sun on your face. Gratitude is the earth beneath your feet. Happy.
Mm.
Oh, man. It's the sun on your face. Gratitude is the earth beneath your feet. Happiness whispers, I feel good now. Gratitude says, I see good now, regardless.
Wow. I love that.
Whew,
Wow. I
dang.
feel good now. Whispers, I feel good now. And what's the last part? Gratitude.
Happiness whispers, I feel good now. Gratitude says, I see good now, regardless.
Mm.
Regardless.
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 Yeah. Huge. Yeah. And you and I, you might agree with this or not. Tell me if you do, but that can't be forced.
No.
You know?
It has to, I think it set it up here. It has to unfold.
Yeah.
I trust what's unfolding. How do you
Right.
trust? You let go.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where faith comes into play. And the definition of that faith is, I don't know, but God, who knows all, knows. I put my trust in that, not in me.
Yep.
A lot of people don't realize that that's what faith is. Faith is trusting in something that knows more than you, trusting
Wow.
in the thing that gave you your life.
Yeah. Damn. That's amazing.
Yeah. I want to, were you going to say something?
I mean, I'll just finish off with the prompt says, as your higher self, I will tell you this. Gratitude is your access point to peace.
Mm,
Ooh, man, what were we just saying?
exactly.
Oh, gosh. Happiness is your reward for alignment. Hmm. If you chase happiness, you'll keep running in circles. But if you choose gratitude, genuine, soul-rooted gratitude, you'll find joy that doesn't shake when the winds of life blow.
Very poetic. Yeah.
A simple prompt, by the way.
Dan Co, suck on that. That was
I
a
know.
simple prompt.
That was no, that was a simple prompt, man. But again, back to, and we can get into your next point. It's like, look what, a simple prompt or just a prompt did. It literally expanded both of our minds. For me specifically, like poetically articulating words. So the
Mhm.
more I have these prompts, the more I read this, the more I embody it, the more I will be able to articulate, months down the road of constantly, refining my articulation of words. I'll be able to be like, yeah, Cody, happiness is, however, it is a state of being. So
Mhm.
just very eye-opening right now because you're like, you put me on the spot. It's like, oh no, I don't know how to articulate how I'm feeling. So again, that's what I love about, you know, using ChatGPT. I'm becoming more creative, not only with, business, but also just like word articulation and getting creative and thinking outside the box.
Yeah. And